Hi everyone, Jessica here from Paper Ink Stamp and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video I wanted to use this stencil by Funky Fossil Designs. This is called Star Spangled Mask. So we have got this really lovely star stencil here, and then it does also include the surrounding as well, so what would be kind of the wastage from that, so you can then just ink blend through that and just have the stars, but I want to use just this mask here on my card for today. So we're going to be creating an A2 size card today, so I've already cut down a panel. This is 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch, and this is from the Ink Me cardstock because I am going to be doing some ink blending today. So I've picked out a couple of distress ink colours as well. We're going to be creating kind of a galaxy background. So for that I have got spiced marmalade, mustard seed, picked raspberry, seedless preserve and broken china. And then I'm going to use some black soot to go over the top of this. So I've already kind of just tested this. I wanted to see what it looked like. So my stencil is just a little bit dirty from that black soot, but I can just wash that right off and it's no problem at all. So before we get started with our ink blending, I just wanted to show you a new bit of storage that I picked up. This is from Amazon, so it wasn't that expensive, but I wanted something that actually held my blending brushes. So previously what I was using was this little pot, and you can see I just popped a little divider in there to separate out my blending brushes I use for my Distress Oxides, and then of course any dye ink pads I use with these ones, which is smaller, and they've got the black handle. But I found then they were quite far away because this just sits on my IKEA pegboard. I found they were a little bit far away for me to reach, and they were just kind of getting in there. They were getting a little bit mucky where maybe the heads would kind of touch each other. So I wanted to get something a little bit different to hold these brushes. So you can get sort of those rotating ones. They're a little bit smaller. Obviously this is a lot longer, but I don't necessarily have the space for something that's sort of thicker, whereas this is perfect because this just sits at the back of my desk, and I can literally just reach for these. Some of these, of course, I can see the colour from the brushes, but as you've seen before, these do have a colour coordinating dot on the end. So there's enough space in here for 10 brushes. I will pop a link to this in the description box down below. Like I said, I got this from Amazon. So I've got then my 8 brushes that I use just for my dye inks, and then I've been able to pop in then the 2 new brushes I got from Funky Fossil. I have only used one of these at the moment, but it just means they can all sit in here really nicely. I do only have 5 brushes for my Distress Oxides, but I think I might get another one of these racks just again for storage, and I can use this then for something else. So like I said, I just wanted to kind of show you that storage because I am going to be using my blender brushes in today's video. Okay, so let's get started with our card. So I'm going to be creating a galaxy background, and then we're going to use our stencil on top of that. So I'm going to bring in a piece of white paper. This is just regular printer paper, just so I can do some ink blending onto here and it's not going to get onto my mat. So what I'm going to do, let's start off with a little bit of mustard seed, and I'm going to take my yellow brush. So your blending really doesn't have to be perfect for this. I'm not looking for anything perfect because again we're going to be using that stencil over the top. So we just do a couple of spots of that yellow, and I can come back in if I want to sort of add any more. Let's come in with a little bit of spiced marmalade. So you don't necessarily need to add kind of orange in here necessarily. You know, there will be other colours made from the colours that we're going to be using. Let's come in with some picked raspberry. So let's get my pink brush. And again, I'm going to go over this because I want it to be sort of nice and vibrant, but I want to just make sure that I get my colour placement kind of just right to begin with. So now I've got kind of just a basic layer. Like I said, I'm going to come back in with some of these and just sort of really kind of get this colour on here nice and sort of dark. I don't want it to be kind of too pasty or anything like that. Okay, so now we've got our blend finished, I can come in now with my mask and just kind of work out where I want to position it. So I put my stencil down, and as I've got just a little bit hanging over the sides, I have popped just a little bit of washi tape just for extra security there. I'm going to take my black soot, and this one I have a dauber for. I don't actually have a particular blending brush dedicated to it. So I'm literally just going to take this black soot. And now I don't want this to be massively heavy. I still want you to slightly to be able to see those colours sort of underneath. So because I'm not particularly worried about the sort of blend too much, like I said, I want you to still be able to see just some of that colour. Some areas I'm going to kind of blend just a little heavier, and others I'm just going to sort of dab and twist it on, again, just to sort of get that nice little variation. And I'm literally going to cover all the way up to the sides. So again, you can still kind of see that colour coming in from underneath, but again, it will just kind of give it that galaxy kind of look. So let's take off our stencil. And we've got then that really sort of a fun background, so we can still see all of that colour underneath those stars. And then you get a little bit of that colour coming still through that black soot. So to add just a little bit more to this background, I'm just going to spritz it with a little bit of water. And then I'm just going to lay a paper towel down on that. Okay, and then we're going to add some Cosmic Shimmer powder to this and just give it a little bit of a sparkle. So I'm just going to pop some just onto the packaging here of my stencil, and then we're just going to splatter this all over our background. So there it is, our background. So we just hold that back and forth in the light. You can see all of that shimmer in there, and I really, really love how this has come out. So now let's get this card sort of together a little bit more. So I've already done just a little bit of die cutting already. So I've seen in a recent video of Christina Warner's, she sort of did a card that was kind of a full panel, and she just added a really simple white frame to it, and I just thought it completely changed the look of her card, and I thought it was so beautiful. So I have die cut myself a panel. So all I did was took some rectangle nesting dies. So it was these two here. I just put them into place to get that perfect border, held it together with a little bit of washi tape, and then just run that through onto some white cardstock. So again, I just think that's going to frame that so beautifully. So what I've done as well is die cut some alphabet, and I've used them my Hunky Dory Bold and Beautiful alphabet set. So I took these chunky letters up here. Again, I've already done a little bit of die cutting, so I die cut this from some silver mirror card. I thought that would look really beautiful, and this is going to be a congratulations card. So I've cut out to spell the word congrats. So we have got the word congrats, and then just to kind of even it out, I've then just die cut a star as well from some holographic cardstock. So the first thing I'm going to do is add my border, so I really know where I want to be positioning my letters. So I'm going to be using some liquid glue. So as I said in a previous video, I got a bundle from Sticks to Anything. This is all adhesive. So we have this 3D PVA glue. So it's just a wet glue, and then I did get a pack of fine nibs in here as well. So I have been wanting to get some nibs for a little while. I just never got around to doing it. So I've added that onto the top of this, and it's really great for that sort of detail work. So what I'm going to do is just add a thin line of this liquid glue all the way around my border. And now I'm going to position this onto my card. Again, just to sort of create just a really lovely kind of border in between. Again, you could make this a little more interesting. You know, you could stack that up if you wanted to, give it a little bit of dimension on there, but I think that really just helps kind of frame the whole piece really nicely. What I'm going to do is actually attach this to my card base before I add my letters. So this is the Sticks to Anything adhesive runner. So this here, the inside is actually replaceable, so it came with another sort of cartridge, but you can keep the case and then literally just buy the refill. So I will take a look at that because it's actually a pretty good adhesive. So let's just run that all around the edges and one down the middle just for luck. I've got my top folding card here, and so this is going to go right to the edge. It's not often that I make a card that does go right to the edge. I usually have that white border on there, but I've done it this way because I thought it would work nicely with that white border that we have added. So now I'm going to go ahead and stack my letters. So I've got 2 die cuts from white, and then I've got one with our holographic on top. And then all I'm going to do is just add some glue, and I'm just going to go ahead and stack all of these together. Okay, so we have our stacked alphabet, and we've got our card base ready. So what I'm going to do is take my T-square ruler. I'm going to sort of work out where I want my letters to go. So I am happy there. So let's start gluing our letters down. And we can just make sure they're straight using that T-square ruler. And there is our finished card. I really love how this has come together. This looks a lot better than what I thought it was going to in my head. But I really love sort of that background. It gives it that real kind of galaxy vibe to it. It's kind of a little bit cool, a little graphic, a little graffiti. But yeah, I really love sort of that kind of background, and adding that black over the top I think works quite nicely. I really love adding this frame. I think I'm going to have to think about doing that a little bit more often because I think it does frame it quite nicely. Again, if you've got quite a busy background, we've got then all of that shimmer from the Cosmic Shimmer powder, of course then our stacked holographic letters as well on there, and just adding then a little bit of colour then with our star. So I really love how this has come together. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think. If you do like it, please give this video a thumbs up so I know. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please do so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. So that's it for today. Thanks very much for watching, and happy crafting.